Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Morinzi. We begin with our top stories. Panic and the fear of the unknown reigns in the Douala 3 Council area after a man in his early 30s was discovered in his own pool of blood in his home. It is not yet clear what precipitated his death, but neighbors suspect he must have been murdered for reasons yet to be known. And panic and the fear of the unknown reigns, and several persons have been arrested at the Grand Angan neighborhood in Bonaberi, Douala 4, after a joint security operative carried out as a raid this May 24, 2023. According to reports, the raid is as a result of the bomb explosion in the neighborhood on May 20, 2023. In detention since September 2020, the defense lawyers of CRM detainees have been demanding for their release to no avail. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Several persons have been arrested at the Grand Angan neighborhood in the Douala 4 Council area after a joint security operative carried out as raid this May 24, 2023. According to reports, the raid is as a result of a bomb explosion in the neighborhood on May 20. Gladys Ambodibang talked to some inhabitants after the raid. Her story.
The more than 4 hours raid at the Grand Angan neighborhood in Bonaberi Douala at the wee hours of May 24, 2023 comes on the heels of complaints who suspect men of the underworld to have invaded the area. The door-to-door security checks at the vicinities of the Grand Angan market, Carrefour Joine, Georgie and the Matango Street led to the arrest of several suspects. It was an atmosphere of general panic when the combat-ready security operatives stormed the neighborhood.
At around 4 a.m. in the morning, I was about to get up. So we just saw military people, mixed army, gendarme and police. So they started asking ID card, chasing their houses, looking for, I don't really know what they were looking for. But if you want to come inside the quarter, you can. They allow you to come, but you cannot go out.
This morning it was a terrible experience. Everywhere was blocked due to armed forces that were everywhere.
The cause of the raid remains unclear. However, it is suspected the security operation comes on the heels of a bomb explosion that occurred on May 20.
People are saying that it was a bomb, but we don't really know what really happened on that day. So that's why, maybe that's why they are here for the RAF. They arrest people with the bike and the other people that they look suspect when they suspect you.
Several business concerns remained closed till 9 a.m. Despite of the fear, some inhabitants loaded the operation.
C'est la joie parce que quand ils viennent comme ça, ils nous protègent.
Light arms, hard drugs, and more than 15 motorbikes without documents were seized and transferred to the 3rd Police District in Bonaberi.
Panic and the fear of the unknown reigns in the Douala 3 Council area after a man in his early 30s was discovered in his own pool of blood at his home. It is not clear what precipitated his death. Birds neighbors suspect he must have been murdered for reasons yet to be known. More in the following story.
In the toilet of his bedroom lies his lifeless body. 32-year-old Geraldine Tinge was murdered in cold blood by yet to be identified persons.
The corpse was discovered in an advanced state of decomposition. It took his neighbors and family members several days looking for him. They could not believe he was lying lifeless in his room. Breaking into the house, the stench from within pushed them aback. First discovery was that he vomited on his bed. Second discovery, blood stains on the floor. Further into the toilet, they discovered a bucket full of water with a sponge by it, then his lifeless body. Following reports, the deceased has spent 5 years in the same home. Most have precipitated his death. The incident has caused fear within his neighborhood, Sobogago neighborhoods in the Douala 3 council area. The deceased is a native from the Sanaga Maritime Division. He was a trader at the Douala Central Market. Investigations have been opened to establish the cause of his death. Meanwhile, he was immediately buried at Pekate neighborhood. His death has brought to light the growing problem of insecurity in Douala. Following an appointment to redirect its activities from Africa and the Middle East, Standard Chartered Bank Cameroon is on a deadlock with the personnel over salary issues. The workers are presently observing a strike which started on May 24, 2023. In a following report, Kajan Henry Atembe says Standard Chartered Bank and the personnel are at the brink of divorce.
Standard Chartered Bank Cameroon is at the brink of divorce with its personnel after the multinational announced a set of actions to redirect resources within Africa and the Middle East. The announcement has triggered a seismic repercussion in Cameroon as the workers are trapped in a whirlpool of uncertainty. Unable to reach a compromise with the multinational financial institution, the workers have embarked on a strike action after submitting a notice to the bank's hierarchy. The mood movement began on May 22, 2023, with the workers appearing in black to express their indignation as they have not reached an agreement on the terms of separation. Meantime, the group CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, Bill Winters, has acknowledged the hard work, dedication, and the commitment of his colleagues and partners in each of the impacted markets in supporting them throughout the transition. Worthy of note, Standard Chartered Bank is desisting from some markets in Africa and the Middle East. These include Angola, Cameroon, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, Lebanon, and Jordan. Responding to Canal International, Standard Chartered Bank Cameroon says though the new buyer is not yet known, they hope to reach a win-win compromise as they are monitoring the situation.
Of the National Gendarmerie have dismantled a gang of criminals who have been acting as NAO agents in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, to extort money from households. The culprits were presented today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, alongside the supposed accomplice still in active service with the electricity distribution unit. Details of that story with our reporter, Haisencha.
From their appearances, you will confirm without any doubt that they are workers of the Cameroon National Electricity Utility, NEO, but they are supposed thieves hiding under the outfit to extort money from Yaoundé inhabitants.
C'est un démantèlement de faux agents NEO.
They are fake NEO agents circulating in and around Yaoundé. Their principal targets are house herbs and prepared metals. They use their telephones with codes, presenting unpaid bills and convincing users to pay. According to the supposed criminals, they were laid off by NEO and they had to derive a means to survive, reason why they embarked on such a fishy game. I was working in Kribi. When I came back, I discovered that many of my colleagues were sacked. We then decided to start science. Science means we get to homes, we verify the matters, the actual bills and the penalties. We tell the consumer to give us a little sum of money. If not, we disconnect. Aside the tricks to lure customers into double paying bills, the agents also stage violent actions to steal other valuables from homes and neighborhoods, as this victim recounts. When they heard me, I started shouting and crying for her. They placed me on the ground and wounded my nose with a screwdriver. When blood started oozing, they ran away. Cracked down by the elements of the 1st Gendarmerie region and presented to the press this May 24th, it was equally revealed that some bad seeds, actual workers of the power company, act as accomplices to the culprits, furnishing them with fake electricity bills and other materials used in their transactions.
In detention since September 2020, defense lawyers of CRM detainees have been demanding for their release to no avail. Some 14 CRM detainees were at the Central Court of Appeal for their habeas corpus procedure files. Beatrice Ngamo completes the story.
1 month running in the name of habeas corpus, the detainees of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM party have been appearing before the judge at the Court of Appeal. Another rendezvous Tuesday brought some 14 before Judge Jean Dachua. They arrived handcuffs and tools, except the advisor of Maurice Kamto, Alain Foguet, singing their way in, smiling and greeting their defense lawyers, who welcomed them with the sad news that their document is still to reach this court. So the hearings has been adjourned to June 6. Barrister Hippolyte Meli here explains that it is just for the document to leave the office of the Court of First Instance to that of the Central Court of Appeal, sharing the same wall. He has not received the mail. Kind of nuisance the officials of this political party hold to maintain their militants and scribes in detention. This notwithstanding, they are looking forward to the upcoming rendezvous audience of spokespersons of Maurice Kamto, Bibo Nisak and others. At the moment, we are preparing a report for the working group, and secondly, the indemnity document of the victims on course also. The habeas corpus request by the CRM detainees since last September 2020 is a battle line. As they return to the prison, they believe that even the cholera threats there cannot stifle their freedom wish.
The threats in the EU region bedeviled by conflict, the situation is under control or under review as state parties are grappling with the Convention to protect against the use of biological weapons. They are meeting in Douala, Cameroon. As a reporter, Kejan Henry Atembe tells us more.
The world is at the brink of biological weapons utilization as well as the spread of weapons of mass destruction. This threat is, however, hanging on the heads of countries of the Central African sub-region. This is what justifies the holding of a capacity-building workshop in Douala, Cameroon on May 24 for countries to respect the Biological Weapons Convention.
I don't think that the biological weapons deals with bad governance. Yeah, there is a problem of conflict in the sub-region, and one of the roots can be the bad governance, but the bad governance cannot be laid to the use of chemical weapons.
The Central African states are technically supported by the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs.
We're very happy to be here today. We believe it's a very important opportunity for Central Africa. We have expressed our great gratitude to the government of Cameroon for hosting us. We believe it's a very unique opportunity for us to be able to share experiences and good practices with states, to learn from one another.
Key national stakeholders like parliamentarians, senior officials and representatives of relevant ministries will work on the importance of ratification or accession to Biological Weapons Convention. However, observers of the different socio-political and economic scenes hold that the threat of biological weapons is as a result of bad governance, which results to conflict. Consequently, the threat of biological weapons.
Cameroon and the United Nations system see the institution of an SDG platform targeting small and medium-sized enterprises in the agro-pastoral sector can help accelerate the attainment of a 2030 agenda. This was during a consultation to boost the process impeded not only by financial constraints but also by the war in Ukraine and COVID-19. More in the following story.
About 7 years to 2030, from the way things are going, achieving all the sustainable development goals might not be possible due to some countervailing forces, such as the war in Ukraine, COVID-19, worsened by the climate factor, climate change. This and others have imposed the need for more resources to support countries accelerate SDGs. During the multi-partner committee session in Yaoundé, chaired by the coordinator of UN System and Secretary General of the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, they were able to identify some of the accelerators that will help mobilize the needful resources to tackle some quick wins that can push the SDG achievement agenda forward.
One of those practical things is to research and see how we set up an SDG platform fund, sort of like a basket fund that will have contributions from both private and public sources of funding, grow industry sector, but most importantly for private and medium-sized enterprises.
Seen as an engine to propel more activation in these sectors where access to credit remains a big challenge.
And that was it for this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language and Canal International. Thanks so much for watching, but don't go away. For coming up next is the brief with Liu Piejou. As for me, I'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.